Yes.
Quick one. I don't know why. I don't know why. There is like it's on the horizontal version. Let me try to turn it. If okay, it says locked. So I guess YouTube.
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
Okay,
Um,
great.
I have to
So
fix that. One
no,
second.
it's okay.
It's
It's
fine.
okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We can go like this.
Okay.
So thank you for joining. Maybe you can move your camera forward a little so like it's cutting off your face.
Oh, okay. So I will move it backwards then. Is that,
Yeah.
does that?
Or you can move your seat backwards. Yes. Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
We can manage this. But it's still cutting off like your face.
Okay. Let me try something else. What about this?
You just turned off your okay. Better, yes. Okay, this
Okay.
is this is the perfect one now. Yes.
Okay.
So
Good. Good.
so welcome to the live.
Yes.
People
Yes.
would I'm sure a lot of persons would enjoy this discussion. I'm not here to fight. Let me state
No,
that.
absolutely not. Absolutely. We can always agree to disagree.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So I'm happy that we're having this conversation because
Absolutely.
uh we need to talk about these things.
Yes. We
You
have to
know,
get to a common ground. Yes.
yeah, I feel like I don't want to use the wrong language, but I feel like the older people, okay, I don't know if you know what I mean. There is a misinformation that is being passed down to the younger people. And the reason I say that is because um, we know that racism is a real thing. And the reason I'm saying is, I'm not saying was, because I mean we still have some, bad actors in the system that still practice it one way or the other.
Yes.
But in terms of we the younger generation, right? I don't
Okay.
think I don't think there is anything a white man can do, or a white person or a white woman can do, that a black person can do in 2025.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I,
Absolutely.
I, I absolutely don't think there is anything a white man or woman can do that a black person cannot do. I do not think there is any place a white man or woman can go that a black man or woman can't go.
Okay.
So that is my thinking. But I mean, you can correct me to say no. There are places in the U.S. where white people can go and black people can't in 2025, and I believe I'm open to learning, but I don't think anyone exists. We can quickly search it. So that's one. Now, um, I see a lot of racism card being tossed around, especially in with what is happening. Charlie Kirk's assassination and all. I see a lot of people say, we don't support it, but he was racist. And the latest one, Pastor, what's his name again? Howard.
Jones Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah, Wesley. He
Mhm.
was saying that this guy is racist, he's evil, he's this and that. Not just him. There are a lot of black pastors that are saying the same thing. Not just the pastors, even the secular musicians are saying the same thing. Bipolar Bear, how you doing? Guy founded a black youth camp for years. Okay, okay, so someone is. I mean, you will definitely have. Of course, people are already commenting and joining in, which makes
Okay.
it even better. Now, so my issue with them, and honestly speaking, when I say these things, I'm not trying to dismiss certain things that have been done to the black community. I'm not trying to dismiss it. I'm not trying to dismiss slavery. It existed back then, but right now, a lot of the people, I would say 99% of the people who are, you know, pushing this racism card, they, I wouldn't say they've not experienced it, right? They're running with information passed down to them from fathers and whatnot. Now, my problem with these people that say Charlie Kirk was racist, he was evil and all, show me the evidence. Like, it's we can I mean, I can come up tomorrow and say you said something and paint you a bad image. And everybody can say things, but show me the video where this guy is, being racist.
I've,
There is
I've
nothing like it.
Really? I shared some podcasts with you, some videos I
Okay,
sent to you about about this
okay,
guy, Charlie Kirk. I did send you some videos and I believe some podcasts. You have to look at your email, but it's here in the US. It's all over the internet where you hear
what
all kinds.
exact okay, so let
Okay,
me say this. I've seen the videos,
okay,
right? I've seen the videos. Let's start from the number one reason. Charlie Kirk said, do away with DEI, right?
okay.
And let's reward people based on merit and competence. Do you have
Okay,
a problem with that?
I do. And I will
You do.
explain what I mean. Yes, I do. I have a problem with what Charlie Kirk said in his video when he mentioned that because he's saying that DEI kind of lowers the competency of those that is being given to. Whereas DEI really was supposed to remove the obstacle of certain groups of people that even though they were qualified, but the obstacle was embedded in the hiring system where they're being denied not because of their competency or their level of education or what have you, but instead they were using the color of their skin, if you will, and other prejudice factors in denying those people the position. That's what DEI was supposed to remove.
Okay.
So it's not the competent. Charlie Kirk made it seem like it was the competency or the qualifications of the person
Okay.
that should count. In other words,
Okay.
but the problem with systemic racism in the U.S. is that even though you are qualified, you're still being discriminated upon based on the color of your skin. So that's different. They're not using my qualification anymore. They're just using the fact that I come as an African American, if you will, and that's enough for them to say, no, we would rather the white boy or the white girl for that position as opposed to you. But they will not come out and say it like that. That's what systemic racism does. But DEI was supposed to remove that obstacle where you have to show us in your establishment that you are actually hiring minority groups that are qualified, that have the same qualification as their white counterparts.
Okay. So I have a question. Now, my question is, with DEI, what's the major focus? And I want you to be honest with me. Like, the major focus for DEI, is it competence or color? Like diversity, not just color now. Diversity. Is it diversity or competence? What comes first? What comes first with DEI? Diversity or competence?
Of course, everybody has to be competent. That's
Okay.
basic. I, I
Okay.
I will want to be in a plane where there's a competent pilot. But the problem with what Charlie Kirk was saying, that he was only stopping there, saying that, well, I have a problem if a pilot was hired because of DEI, without him mentioning the qualification of that pilot. even though
Oh,
that pilot is African American, in other words.
okay, okay. Now let me say this. You have I'm giving you a scenario now.
Okay.
I'm going to paint a scenario to you. Let's just see what the comment section. Someone said something that I was going to say. Yeah, okay. This person say DI doesn't mean black. It means diversity. That means black people can be pushed aside for a gay person or an
Exactly.
Asian if there are not enough of them at the company, right?
Exactly.
So it means we are going to be hiring based on slots, not necessarily competence, right?
No,
That's
it
what it
mean
means.
no, no no, well, it means that because of systemic racism in the US, where in the past they had Jim Crow laws, they had like where Jim Crow law was where blacks cannot go to certain places, cannot be hired at certain places. We can't drink from a certain fountain. That's in the past. That's done with. But in the
Okay.
US today,
I'm happy you
there
say
is
it's in the
still
past.
systemic racism. And what systemic racism does is that in the white establishment, you might find a company where everybody there is actually white. So you wonder how come they're not hiring people of color? And then you will find that this is where the diversity, equity, and inclusion comes in, because there are people of color that have the same qualifications as those white folks that are working in that establishment, or even better qualification than those, but they're not being hired.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is that you believe 100% that systemic racism still exists in 2025
Absolutely, absolutely. In the US,
in the US, right? In the
yes,
US.
yes.
Okay. Now I would paint a scenario and I want you to respond. You have 1,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm,
And you need just 50 for the position.
mm-hmm.
Now, the 50 people you need, 50 white people are qualified or are more qualified than the others, the other people, right? You have the best 50 people in that set of 1,000.
Okay,
DEI says that I cannot pick the best 50 people because they're white, right?
exactly, exactly.
I have to take 25 from the white guys, and then I I have to concentrate on the less or the I mean the less qualified guys because I want diversity. Now, this is what Charlie was saying. Charlie was saying that let's do away with systemic racism, right? And focus on merit and competence. That's exactly what he was saying in the videos. I've seen the videos.
Okay, I'm listening.
Let's do away with systemic racism and actually focus on um merit and competence. So instead of saying um you have a situation where uh you know everyone on the team happens to be black and all the black guys are the most competent people, and then because the black guys are the most competent people but you want a system where everyone is equally represented, right?
Okay,
Even
yeah.
when you are sure in that situation that these guys are not as competent as these black guys. No,
No,
Charlie was saying, no, hold on, let me finish.
okay.
I've seen the videos. Charlie was saying give the position to the most competent guys, whether they are black or white. And let's actually tackle the real problem, which you mentioned, which is systemic racism.
So let me ask you this: if if Charlie says that when he goes inside a aircraft and the pilot is black, he's wondering. I start to wonder, and this is what Charlie said in one of his podcasts
Yes,
in his
yes.
video. I
I
started to
have the
wonder.
full
So
video.
my question to you is: so you don't think that American Airline or Delta Airline or Southwest Airline, if you will, had actually hired a competent, vetted that particular pilot before they were hired?
Okay, and that's where the problem comes in. The
Okay.
and see, Charlie in his video, if you watch the full video, you'll understand that he was posing a question to the people.
No, the
That's how
problem
we
with
start.
Charlie,
Hold on.
no, the problem, no, wait, hold on. Let me just say this real quick. The problem with Charlie was that if you were a white pilot, that question would not even have come up. That's the problem.
Charlie was speaking on behalf of both the white guys and the black guys.
Yeah, but
Charlie was
if he was a black guy, if he was a white pilot, that question or that scenario, that suggestion would never have came up with Charlie. In other words, is what I'm saying.
yes, and you're right. And why are you right? You're right because DEI was invented because of marginalized people. And
So you don't.
by the time we, yes, it
So you
was
don't.
invented
So
because of
so
marginalized people.
So you don't think that there might be a scenario where a white guy with a lower qualification or competency might have been hired as a pilot than the black guy? You don't think that
Yes,
there's that scenario?
yes, it can exist. But again,
Exactly.
it can
Exactly.
exist. But let's focus on why DEI, why we're implementing DEI. We're not implementing DEI because of the white guys. That's the truth. That's the truth. We're
No,
not
we
implementing DEI because of white guys. Are we?
no no we the DEI was implemented because across the board in America that is predominantly white have
Yes.
always practiced a prejudice system of hiring where most of the time they will hire, and I've experienced this myself personally,
I,
where
I'm
where
not
where
doubting you. That's
where
possible.
where I went to a job hiring, and when I got there, they told me, "Oh, the position has been filled." Listen to this. The position has been filled, Mr. Johnson. We sorry, thank you for coming. The position has been filled. And then the guy behind me, we were sitting in the lobby together, the white boy behind me, went after me for his interview. And then he came back out. I met him in the parking lot after the interview. And he goes, "Yeah, I've been hired. I just got hired." You see where I'm going with my story now? You see
Yes.
what DEI does now? This
Okay.
is why we
This
need DEI.
hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What you're
Okay.
saying, how many years ago was this?
This was as recently as back in the 90s.
I mean, we're in 2025 for crying
Yeah,
out loud.
but it doesn't change the fact that these things are there, though. It doesn't change that
Yeah,
fact.
but not as bad as it was in your time. That's what I'm saying. Not as bad as it was in your time. Right today, I'm telling you, today it's not as bad as it was. I mean, Nigerians are getting jobs there from here, right?
No,
Ghanaians are getting jobs over there from their
yeah,
country.
now
Kenyans are getting jobs.
because up until now, DEI has been in existence, implemented.
Okay, no, and honestly speaking, the Africans that get jobs, right, especially the tech positions, it's not because of DEI. I'm telling you, I'm in tech. It's not
Okay.
because of DEI. Our guys are
Mhm.
good. Like you, there is no white boy can compete with me when it comes to my field. I say it.
No,
So
well, listen,
so it's
I'm
not
not.
because of, hold on. It's not because of DEI anymore, right? And we're seeing things get better, especially with the younger people. We're seeing things actually get better. And Charlie was saying that look, why don't we tackle the real problem that made us invent DEI? This is what the guy was basically saying, let's tackle the real thing that made us invent this DEI, and let's actually start telling these people that yes, we're hiring you because you are actually competent, and not because we reserved some slot for only marginalized people.
But that,
Let's
but drill about that is inherent. That's inherent in any establishment. You want to hire the best guys, you want to hire the most qualified. But I'm telling you that if in white America, if 20 people go to apply for a job, and out of the 20 people, if 15 of them are white and 5 of them are black, and all of them are qualified, you might be surprised if no black is hired. This is the American system that I'm telling you about. This is how that works. And that was what DEI was supposed to
again,
eradicate.
yes, again, these things might have happened in your time, but
What do
right
you
now
what do
it's
you
not
what
as
do you
bad.
what do you mean my time? When is my time? The 1990s is not too far gone. It's
That's
not too
that's
far
a long
gone. And that's one.
that's a long
Two
time
that I want you
ago.
to understand. Another point that I want you to understand is today, as of today, it was only when Trump came into power that he wants to do away with DEI. But the problem again with that, by doing away with DEI, is in
Yeah.
tackling that problem. In tackling that problem, the problem with that is, you might still find pockets of white establishments that will still practice what we are arguing about here today. Where, even though there were 5 blacks and 5 whites, and the
Mm.
5 blacks were just as qualified as the 5 whites, they still chose the 5 whites, as opposed to hiring some blacks too in the mix. And this is what DEI does. We
And
we under we understand we
okay,
understand that
do you
we
okay
understand
which
that we understand that we are 14% of the population, approximately
mm.
14% of the population. We understand that. But can that show in your hiring practice that when you looking to hire 10 people, and all 10 have qualifications equally, they are
Mm.
all equally qualified, can you still
Mm.
can you at least have 2 or 3 black employee in your establishment that have the same qualification as the 7 whites? Is what DEI does.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you a question. Is it possible to have 10 people and they're all equally qualified, like to the T? Is it
Okay.
possible, really? In the real world, is it possible? You have 10 people and they're all equally qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible. I
I
went.
don't think it's
It is
possible.
possible, and I'll explain what I mean by it's possible. All right.
Okay,
All right. I went to school to be a radiologic technologist. So I practice
okay,
like X-ray, MRI. That's what I have my license. I have a license from the Department of Health. I have my certification from ASRT. So I have my license that shows that I've been vetted. I went through 2,200 hours of schooling in the field. I mean, of residency in that field, and I went to college for this program, and I have my license to prove it. And I have white counterparts in my class. We graduated together. Now, when we go to apply for a job, you may sometimes be shocked that the white boy with the same license and qualification that I have will be hired over me. Why is that?
okay.
We
Is
have
it?
the same we have the same qualifications.
Yeah.
We
And
went to the same school.
I'm not doubting your experience. I've said this before. I'm not doubting your experience. I'm
Mhm.
saying that if you had a company, right, and
Okay.
you have two black people you want to hire for a position. This person is qualified, all the credentials check. The second person is qualified, all credentials check, right?
Hmm.
You need
Hmm.
one person. You need just one person. Now you have two black boys. Would you find a way to actually get the best person, or would there be other metrics that you can look at and say, oh, because of this, I'm going to go with this guy instead of this person.
Well, in implementing DEI, the metric that was used
No, I'm not talking
is
about DEI now.
no,
I
no,
didn't
no.
ask you about DEI.
Okay, all right, okay,
I
no,
said,
no, but
you
go
I'm
ahead.
not talking about DEI at all
Okay,
right now.
okay, I'm listening.
You have a business, you have a company, you want to hire two persons. You want to hire two persons, two black guys show up. This person A has every credential. Person B, check. They have the same thing. Now you need just one person for the role.
Of course, I will hire the person that came in first,
You
regardless of the
hire the
color,
person that came in.
regardless of
Okay,
the color
you
or
hire the
the
person that came in first, right? So
right,
so
right.
now you have chosen a different metrics that
Yes,
doesn't have to do
that would be
with.
the yardstick that I will use. But the
Hold
problem
on,
is
no.
when you wait. Let me just put this real quickly, and I will let you, and I will yield the floor to you. The
Okay.
problem with what is going on in this society is that, for the most part, you will find some companies and packets of businesses and companies where it's like 99% white.
Again, I'm saying that what you're saying happened, or what you're saying is not as, it's
I'm
not
talking about
as
today.
bad
I'm
as
talking
it
about
is
today.
now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yes, and I'm saying today it's not as bad as it was. It's not as bad as it was. I know guys in I've lived in Ghana. I know guys in Ghana that work with American companies from Ghana.
Okay.
I have friends in Kenya that work with American companies. Nothing like DEI. In fact, the companies are actually running after them because they can't find anybody as good as these guys,
Okay.
right? So big, and I'm telling you firsthand. And now
I
you
get it.
you have your own experience. I'm telling you my own
I
experience.
got you.
Okay, I've worked with companies as well, and not because I'm black or something. No, just competence. I can do the job, and they say okay, right? And these companies are willing to work with this, so it's not as bad as it was. That is what people need to understand. It's not as bad as it was. Africans are getting jobs within American companies, in German companies. Africans from Africa living in Africa. So now my point is, you have two black people. You've been able to come up with a different metrics to say, okay, you're qualified, you're qualified. I'll pick the person who came in first. That's a metric. Now,
Okay.
this exactly what you did there is what Charlie is trying to implement. That no, let's throw DEI away, because with DEI you are boxed. Then you have to reserve 50% because these people, you feel that these people are marginalized. And Charlie saying no, let's do away with the marginalization mentality.
Okay. Let me ask.
And
Let
no,
me.
hold on,
Okay.
hold on. Let's do away with it, and then let's actually come to terms with the fact that we are now hiring based on merit and competence, right? I don't think that itself is racism. It's not racism. And I prefer a world, personally, I prefer a world where let's compete. I don't care about your color. Bring whatever exam or whatever you want to put forward, and let's compete and let's
Yeah,
see.
but that's the real world. You're talking about the real world. You're talking about you. You're talking
The
about
real
you.
world
But
already exists. It's
but
what
that's
I'm
what I'm
telling
saying.
you.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you will like. What you just said. You said me. I would like a world where my personality
This
is where
Yes,
we both
and I'm
complete.
telling you that this
Right.
world already exists. That's what is happening now.
Okay.
Africans are competing with Americans and getting jobs,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Africans
Okay.
are competing right now and getting jobs.
Okay.
I was taking a course. It was the Google. It was a Google security course, and I was shocked that the one of the trainer was a Nigerian, and I was like, wow, okay, right? So Africans, and the guy was, I mean, he was even better than a lot of the trainers in that course. And I'm telling you that this thing already exists. Now this is the real problem I see, right? A lot of
Okay.
the older people who experienced this thing firsthand, like you, who actually have real stories, not stories someone told you. You actually have
Okay.
firsthand experience of this discrimination in the hiring process. You you guys think it's still happening, right? And then you are passing it on to the younger people, and a lot of the younger people have not really, should I say, built capacity, and then they just run with it, right? They
Okay.
run with it, and when they get to the workplace, and or they, I mean, get to the interview process, and they're not qualified, and they're rejected. My daddy told me this is what will happen, right? So I feel like it's high time the older people start telling younger people that, look, build capacity. Yes, this thing happened in the past, but it's not as bad as it is. And then a lot of the older people need to speak with the younger people to see what is going on, right? What is going on? What's happening in the marketplace? Who's getting which jobs? So there is this disconnect, and the disconnect is the old people think that this systemic racism and discrimination is as bad. I'm not saying it doesn't exist anymore. I'm saying it's not as bad as they're painting it now. So that's one, is principles with DEI. And anybody who understands him, if you watch the full clips, this is what he's saying, right? This is exactly what he's saying. How is that being racist? To say, look, if you guys decide to hold on to DEI, then you will paint a picture where people will go into a plane and see a black person and be like, did this person get into here because of DEI? That's what the guy
Okay.
was saying, right? So you see, a lot of people don't even sit down to watch the entire clip. They just maliciously cut the clips and they present it to people. The thing is like almost a 1 hour debate.
No, not
And,
really.
and
Not really.
yes,
I disagree with you. And the reason why I say I disagree with you is that I will
about
give
the
you
clip
another.
or what?
Huh?
About
What?
the length of the clip or what?
No, about what you're saying about a lot of people think that because he said that then it's not racism. Is
Okay,
why I
you
disagree
think
with you
you think
because
saying that
there are
you think
instances there
saying
are
saying that makes you a racist?
because he backed it up with other statements. You can't just say
I want
something.
to address the other statements.
Okay, all right, okay,
So that's the
all right,
first thing. So let's
okay,
address the other statements.
okay.
What's another statement? There are only two genders, male and female. Do you have a problem with that?
That there are only two genders, male and female.
Male and female. Do you have a
I don't have
problem with that?
I don't have a problem with that.
That's another of
But
the statement.
but
So
but
now
but
we've
but
handled two
but,
statements.
but
Hold on, there are more. We're going to address everything.
okay.
We're going to address everything. So we've tackled two key statements he made that people pick and say, look, he said this, it's racist.
No,
Those
but
things are
you see,
not.
no, 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 no,
Now
no,
let me
no,
say another thing. No,
no,
wait,
Zilabite,
hold
I have to,
on.
no, back up a little,
It's not
back up.
just the two
No, no,
statements.
no,
I'm
I have
picking
to
all
say
the
this. I have
statements
to say
one at
this.
a time.
I have to say this.
Okay.
I have to say
Okay.
this. When you talk about where he said there are only two genders, male and female, you forgot the part. You got to include in that statement, in that part where he says that a transgender should be stoned to death. That's wrong.
Okay. Can you show me the clip?
I'm sorry?
Show me the clip.
I have it. I have it. You want me to
Okay.
send it to you now? I think I
Yes.
did. I sent it to you. You have it.
Not. I hope you should send me the full clip. Don't send me the cut version of the clip. Send me
All
the
right,
full clip.
let's yeah, okay, I will do that, but I can't do that while we're having this conversation now. Let's move
No,
on.
you can go on and find it. I'm going to address the other issues. I
Okay,
will
all
address
right,
the other issues. So look for it. Now,
okay,
this
all
guy
right.
also said, he said that um, George Floyd died from drug overdose.
No, he said George Floyd was a scumbag.
Okay. Let's get the full clips, right?
Okay,
Let's get the full clips.
okay.
I'm getting the full clips.
Yes.
And you get yours as well. so
So
so so
I know that what you get is probably going to be legit. So I'm not going to dispute that you're not getting the right clip. So go ahead.
all right. Okay.
Okay,
So I have Turning Point USA, right?
okay,
This is Charlie's organization. So I'm
okay,
getting the clip directly from
okay,
his
okay,
organization, right? So this is the one on George Floyd, right? So I'm gonna play it
okay.
and let's listen to it. But first and foremost, um uh I'm not okay. If you if
Mm-hmm.
you call me a scumbag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it
Mm-hmm.
make you racist?
Yes.
If you call
Ye-
me a
ye-
scumbag,
yes. Under what context though? Under what
look,
context did you call me a scumbag? The discussion was they were
what's the
talking
meaning
about
of hold on? What's the meaning of scumbag?
huh?
The meaning, what's the meaning of scumbag?
Is a
No,
derogatory
but it
is a
has a
dero-
meaning. It
is
has
a
a
dero-
meaning. What's the
okay.
meaning?
Okay, all right. I'll give you the meaning now. 1 second.
Yes. What's
I'll
the
give you the
meaning?
meaning. 1 second.
Scumbag.
1 second. Hold on. I'll get you the meaning now.
Okay, let me say it for you. This is
Okay.
directly from
I'm
Google
trying to
AI,
find
right?
my
A scumbag is
where's my Google?
a
Okay.
slang. Listen, a scumbag is a slang, an offensive term for despicable, dishonest, or very unpleasant person, often considered a low life.
Okay.
Should I read it again? A
No, I have
scumbag.
it here. I have the same thing here.
Good. Now, let's be very, very factual
Let me
and
say this.
honest.
Let
Hold
me say
on
this.
now. Just hold on,
Okay.
please. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's be very factual and honest. With going by this
Can I say
definition of a
can I say my
scumbag,
definition? Can I say my definition?
okay, it's different from this.
I will say my definition. Yes, it's different from what you just said. Yes.
Where your source? Where's your source? What's your
Uh,
source? Your source.
Google.
Okay, go ahead.
Google.
Yes, go
Google.
ahead.
And it
Tell
says,
me your definition.
a scumbag is a slang for a despicable, dishonest, or thoroughly unpleasant person whom you feel intense dislike or disgust for.
Okay.
All right. We
Okay.
can go. We can move on now. Go ahead.
Good. So what you just defined, how does racism, how does it make someone a racist? So hold on,
Very good.
hold on.
Okay.
If I feel if I feel disgust for something or someone, that
Remember,
doesn't make me a racist.
remember, we're talking about the person, and that's why I ask you under what context. Remember, we are
Good.
talking
Now
about the
let's
person. Remember, we are talking about the person that calls himself a Christian white
hold on.
nationalist. Okay,
Yes, hold up,
okay,
hold
all
up.
right, go
So
ahead.
now let's
Okay,
I'm trying to establish the fact that insulting people, you may say it's not Christian. I can
okay,
agree.
okay.
You can tell me that insulting people is not Christian, but insulting people doesn't mean someone is a racist. We can be having a heated debate, and I tell you, oh, shut up, right? We can be having a heated debate, and I say, what are you talking about, idiot?
Well,
We
that
can be
when we
having a
have it
heated debate, but hold
when we
on.
are having a debate and one on one, and you call me an idiot or scumbag, is different from when you have 3,000 young students in a
Yes.
school or in a
Mm,
university that you
okay.
make those type of statements. You sowing seeds of hate when you make those type of statements in that
Hold
kind
on.
of
No, I
environment.
want to play the video. Let's watch the
Okay,
video
all right,
and see.
all right.
Right?
I saw a clip somewhere that you were trying to get the officer who murdered George Floyd pardoned, and I just want to know what your reasoning was about that. Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
Okay. First, the first thing is, do you believe that George Floyd actually was, using drug and was overdosed?
No, no. He said died of overdose. I don't believe
Yes.
George Floyd died of drug. Floyd may have been using drugs for years, but he died
Okay.
that day. He died that day because an officer inserted his knee on his neck for an
Okay.
extended period of time.
Yes, I accept. An
Okay.
officer put his knee on his neck. Now,
Okay.
the report. See, let's not be sentimental here.
Okay. All right.
The report actually states that this guy died of drug overdose. The report, forget sentiments. We're talking credible report. Credible autopsy report states that he died from drug overdose. So we are allowed. Hold on. I can pull up the report.
No,
We are
no, no. I'm not
hold
asking
on.
you to. Okay.
Hold on. We are allowed to we're allowed to think what we want. We're allowed to
No.
believe that. No, hold on. We are allowed to believe that we know you are bullshitting us. We know this guy did not die from drug overdose, right? We are
Okay.
allowed, we can know that for ourselves. But when
Okay.
it comes to actual documentation and facts, and you look at the reports, what is the report actually saying?
Okay, so let
This
me
is
ask you a question.
national
Why?
report
Okay, so why? So if that's the
stating
case,
that
why did he? Okay, so if that's the case, why did the police officer go to jail?
good. The police officer went to jail because, I mean, the extended time you put your knee on his neck is actually a crime. Yes,
So basically, you're saying that he exacerbated his death by putting his knee on his neck.
exactly.
Okay, then.
But hold on. But other people like this guy say no. If the report is saying that this guy died of drug overdose, this is what he was saying. That if the report is saying that this guy died of drug overdose, why are we putting the officer in jail? That is what he was saying here.
So you don't believe that the guy should be in jail? I'm asking you now. You don't believe
I
that the officer?
believe it.
Huh?
That is what I'm saying. I'm 100% that the guy should be in jail.
Okay.
100.
Okay.
I'm not even missing words. But
Okay.
I'm saying that Charlie making a statement that if the report says somebody died of drug overdose, why are we putting the police officer in jail? That's what Charlie was essentially
So
saying.
basically, he doesn't believe what you and I just
He,
said that we believe.
yes, he doesn't believe it, but it doesn't make him racist. It
So
doesn't make
so
him.
so under what premise will you think that it was okay for the officer to put your neck on the man or your knee on the man's neck? for that
Good.
period
Let
of
me.
time, and it's okay.
And he defended it here. He defended it. I will play the full thing. I've watched it before. Wait, he defended it. This is under. I will answer your question just the way he answered it because someone asked a similar question, and Charlie said, "Putting your knee on a man's neck is part of the police training."
That's not
It's
that's
not a
not
lie.
true.
It's
That's
not
not
a.
true.
We can ask. Come on,
Let me.
we have the whole knowledge of the world at our fingertips.
Okay. All
Putting
right.
your knee on a man's neck is part of police training,
Okay.
restraining the suspect, and in a situation where the suspect is resisting arrest, you are
Let me ask
allowed
you.
to do
Let me
that.
let me ask you. Do you believe that there are rogue police officers? Rogue police officers. Do you believe that there are rogue
Of
police
course,
officers? So
100. I believe.
do you believe that police officers go beyond what they are trained to do at times in arresting people? Do you believe that?
I believe.
Okay then. So what's the argument here then?
The argument is that the knee on his neck is part of the man's training.
Yeah, but what does that mean then? That
So putting
because of
his
that?
knee, hold on, putting his knee on the man's neck is not a crime in itself
Okay. So
because
what?
it's part of his training. So
Okay. So
I want a situation where we're allowed to look at the actual facts and say, these are the facts, right? So Charlie is saying that this, if the report, so
shooting a police officer shooting somebody that might be a threat to him is part of his training. But
of course,
police officers shoot people without regard at times.
yes,
Even though shooting is justified, sometimes doesn't mean that they don't shoot, disproportionately,
yes,
illegally at times.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
Okay.
I agree with you
Okay.
100%. But it doesn't change the fact that the guy has a training that, permits him, let's say, to actually do what he did. Now, then we can now look at, okay, your training permits you to do what you did, but you put the guy on the ground and your knee was on his neck, but you were there for a very long time, even when the guy was saying, I can't breathe.
Okay.
Right? And that is
Mhm.
why I support the jail sentence. But Charlie is simply saying, why is the report saying that this guy died of drug overdose and you guys are putting this other guy in jail? If so there is no the report and the guy being in jail, there's a disconnect there, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The report is saying he died. I mean, the report should
the, the
say
the
he died
disconnect the,
from the police officers.
the disconnect was with Charlie. You and I agree that the officer did wrong.
I agree, and I'm telling you that
So
Charlie.
the disconnect was with Charlie then, in other words, because he
No,
disagreed. Okay.
you're
All
not
right.
getting. Charlie is
Okay.
saying that the report says he died of drug overdose and not from the officer. But we all saw the video. Even if the guy was on drugs, right? If nothing happened that day, that guy wouldn't have died.
Exactly.
If nothing happened, he wouldn't have died. So I mean, he was on drugs, but your actions led to his death,
Exactly.
right? But now the report came out, and the report didn't even mention the officer. The report says this guy didn't die from that action. He died from the drug overdose.
Okay.
Good. So Charlie comes out to say, okay, if you guys are saying that he didn't die from the officer's action but from drug overdose, then free the officer. That's what he was saying. Free the officer if this is what you're saying. So for me, I saw the video. What people should be, looking
So
out for is
basically,
why did the
so
government release a
so
report that says he died from drug
Driller
overdose?
Bite, what you are saying now is we should simply go by just that report and exonerate that officer. That's what you're saying.
No, that's not what
But
I'm saying. I'm
that's what
saying,
Charlie said.
yes, that's what Charlie said. And I'm
But
saying,
that's wrong.
Charlie's saying that. No,
That's wrong.
Charlie's saying that again.
Yeah.
Again, that is just an opinion. That is an opinion. Somebody looks at a case,
You
analyze the
know,
case. Hold
you
on.
know,
Somebody looks at a case, analyze the case. Let's not be sentimental. You look
no,
at the
no.
case, you analyze the case, and
Okay.
then you have an opinion to say,
Okay.
well, based on my analysis of this case, I don't think that this guy should still be in jail if you are putting out a report that he died from drug overdose. So it's an opinion. He's not even, Charlie doesn't have the power to release the guy, for crying out loud. He's just putting his opinion out there that you guys, look at this, look at what the report is saying. And we put this guy in jail. So who are we being fair to? You guys say he died of drug overdose, and you guys put this person in jail. That's exactly what he said. That's the point of all this thing. Now, people pick that and say, oh, he said that because he hates black people. That's not being hate. That's not hatred. That's just analyzing a case and forming your own opinion of the case.
Lullaby.
So,
This
in
it,
other words,
okay.
people are trying to paint a picture where any white person that has an opinion that doesn't favor the black community is against the black community. Okay, white people should be allowed to have opinions that don't favor blacks, and then we debate it. And by the way, he said this thing publicly, open for debate, and say, this is my idea, this is what I think. And people came out to challenge him that no, you can't say this is what you think. Look at the amount of time the police was, the knee was on the neck. It was for an extended period. So me sitting here, I do not agree with everything he says 100. For example, this one, I clearly don't agree with it. But it
Okay.
doesn't change the fact that it's just an opinion.
Yeah, but the problem is the problem is nationalists like Charlie Kirk has those type of convoluted and white supremacy opinion about
No,
how things about how yes, I'm saying it because
this
that's what it is.
particular one.
I'm calling it for what it is because the opinion they make it fit, they make their opinion fit the narrative that they want it to fit.
But
They
this,
can they
we're,
can they can they can
we're
they can
addressing
they can they
specific
can
issues here.
construct the narrative to fit exactly where they want it to fit in.
Okay, but
That's the
hold
problem.
on. We're addressing specific issues here.
Right. Right.
Do you understand his own point of view, saying that the reports are saying one thing and your actions are saying something else? So based on your actions, Charlie is calling on the government to say, look, based on your actions, it means this guy should not be in jail. Based on your actions, your report is saying the policeman didn't kill the guy, but
Because
you put the guy in. Hold on,
the report alone
hold
didn't
on,
send the guy to jail. The report alone
hold,
didn't send him to jail.
yeah,
Okay.
hold on.
Okay. All
But
right.
the report didn't mention the police. The report says George Floyd died of drug overdose,
Okay.
and then you sent the guy to jail. So Charlie says, why is your report saying he died of something? And why? So Charlie is asking the government a question. Why are you sending this man to jail? Simple. And we all know why the man has to be in jail,
Okay.
right? So it's a debate. It's a debate. I see the report and I say, no, this guy shouldn't be in jail, and we debate it. At the end of the day, the government is not stupid. The government put the authorities who threw the guy in jail. They are not stupid. It's a debate. Then you bring your own strong points. I bring my own strong points, and then we debate it. It doesn't
Right.
make anyone racist.
Right. And again, what I'm saying, simply put, is this: that when Charlie debated that, let's just speak on this specific issue that we're
Yeah.
talking about now. When he debated that issue, his narrative was not complete. Charlie's narrative was not complete
What
in
did he miss out?
okay, exactly. And that's my point. What he left out were all the incident that happened that caused George Floyd to die. Not just that single item of what the report says alone. In other words, but that's what uh, 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 his podcast or that video that you just played. That's the only thing that was exclusive, if you will, in that particular podcast.
Yeah.
Which is again what I mean by they selectively narrate the story to fit whatever narrative that they wanted to fit into. And that's
Okay.
what Charlie Kirk knows how to do best. Because
Okay.
time and time again, if you go through a lot of his videos, we are seeing the same pattern. The same pattern.
No, hold on, hold on.
Okay.
The
All
guy is
right.
looking at government documents here, by the way. Charlie is not making up the report. Charlie is not making things up. Charlie is just telling you this is what the government document states. The
Okay.
government document left out the issue of the police putting his knee on his neck and all the other issues. The government document states that he died of drug overdose. So
Okay.
Charlie is looking at the government documents. And you
Okay.
can say that he's been malicious with that. But again, we cannot close our eyes to the fact that he's looking at the government documents.
But why would it be malicious knowing that you expressly talking to young kids in a school
Yes, we
compound
can,
that are
again, you
learning?
and I,
Okay.
again, this is it.
Okay.
You and I can assume that. But if we put
Assume
our
it's not an
assumption,
assumption. That's not an assumption. That's not
no,
Charlie. He was going to campuses where young kids are
yes,
learning.
but
It's not an assumption.
he's talking about government reports.
No, but the point I'm saying is this, Drillabite.
The government
If you
report left out
Drillabite,
the other issues. I
here's
hope
what
you know this.
and I get what you're saying, but I'm not going to give Charlie Kirk a free pass here because if
I'm
you
not
know
giving him a
better,
free pass either. I said I'm not in support.
if you know better, you do better. If you know better, you do better. Charlie
Okay.
Kirk, Charlie Kirk was going there in those campuses, so you have the responsibility as the adult in the room at that particular time to tell the whole story. If you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story or don't tell the story at all.
Okay.
And that's where Charlie Kirk missed the boat right there because he did not tell the whole story. When you telling the story, tell the whole story. You bringing just a report and using that as the yardstick to convict George Floyd, I think was a disservice to those children at that school or any campus for that matter.
Okay. Again, we can agree that it's a disservice, but we're looking at the government report here. And looking at the government report, you have to report it exactly as it is. And Charlie is saying, based on this government report, this is what I think.
Okay, fine. And it stopped right there. But without mentioning the rogue way that police officer was wrong in continuing to insert his knee
That's
on the
that is where debate comes in. That's what
okay,
I'm
right,
saying.
right.
That's where debate comes in.
Yeah.
That's where debate comes in. And it's sad that, a lot of these, public figures that are coming up now to say he's a demon, they never for once, you know, attended all those events and tried to shut the guy up. Because, see, superior knowledge would definitely defeat the inferior or the malicious knowledge, right? I expect that these I mean, it would have even been a better opportunity to educate those
They
young
won't. They
minds.
won't. They won't shut him up. You know why they won't shut him up? You know why they won't shut him up? They won't shut
Why?
him up because here in the US, there's what they call the First Amendment. You know the First Amendment? The
Of
First
course,
Amendment,
it's a
the
debate,
first
but it's a debate. If
the first
okay,
the
so
First
this is it.
Amendment is the freedom of speech. So they
Of
won't shut
course,
him up.
yes.
But
You're not
but then
shutting him up, but
okay.
if you debate the guy and he can see clearly that his points make no sense, then nobody's going to run with that. But
No,
in a
no.
situation, hold
Okay.
on. In a situation where he calls for a debate, there are thousands of students, right, willing to speak and willing to challenge his ideas, and the elders who should know better ignore him. The elders who should know better and should say no. How can you're leaving out this part? You're not saying this part of the issue. You are only picking the report, but the report is not the only thing we are looking at, right? Should come here and educate the students as well to say, look, this guy is leaving out the report, and then they challenge the ideas, and the students will leave there with the new ideology that okay, look at this is what is going on, but they never did that.
No, because
They
that's not
left the
possible.
guy.
The scenario that you paint in Drillabite is not. It's not practical.
How?
The scenario that you just painted is not practical. For
How?
one,
How? Explain.
for one, that particular campus meeting that was established every time was always Charlie Clark's platform. That was his platform. So who's going to come and say no? You can't say this or you can't. That's his platform.
His
You
platform was
understand?
open to everyone.
No. You know what I'm saying to you is nobody was gonna. Well, they're gonna come and debate him, but they're not gonna. They're not gonna say no. You can't say that, or you can't. Nobody, no adult, no other adult is gonna come there and say no. You can't say that, or you can't say this.
Even
You
if
know.
even if Charlie comes to your platform, you can't stop him from saying what he wants to say.
Exactly. But
So
does
it's
that
the
mean?
same thing.
Does that mean it might not be spewing hatred or misaligning or misinforming the public?
Misinformation is not proof of racism.
I don't know if that is right. I don't know
No,
if that is
it
right.
may not be
When you
right. It may not be right, but it's not. It doesn't mean I am racist,
well,
right?
it does if we have a pattern. It does if we have a pattern. That's the problem.
And we're trying to locate the pattern now, right? We're trying to
Okay,
locate it.
okay, all
And
right.
based on this, if you're looking at a government document, right, and you just state the facts, if you just state the facts, you have not lied. You stated the
No,
facts.
you have not lied, but you have conveniently left out other important factors. See, this is what, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. You
Okay,
conveniently left out some important factors.
okay.
This
So
is
we
what
can
they
agree
do.
to
I'm telling you
disagree.
what they do, how they do what they do.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. Let's say this one he left out other factors.
Right.
Let's agree that okay, he
Okay.
left out other factors.
Okay.
Again, this is one, right? He left out
Right.
other factors, and then to you, this is enough proof that he is a racist.
Correct.
This alone is proof
No,
that
no,
he's
no, it
racist.
wasn't. And that's what I'm saying all along. This alone was not why I just inherently think that he's racist.
Okay, what else? What
There's a
other issues?
pattern. There's a
Then,
pattern.
then let's address the issues.
Okay.
The pattern is not infinite.
No, it's not. What
So let's address it. What other
okay,
issue?
I will give you another one, and you could pull it up in the podcast in his one of his videos where he said that Michelle Obama and Cassandra Jackson, the black woman in the Supreme Court, doesn't have the intellectual reasoning or something to that effect to be in the
Mm-hmm.
position that
Do you have the full,
they
do you
are.
have the full video?
I'm sorry.
The full, like the full clips.
You could pull it up. Go ahead. It's there. It's there. You can pull it up. You saying it doesn't exist? I just made this up? It's there. Hello?
Okay, okay, you're back. So I was trying to check out the clips so that I can get the full clips where he mentioned that. I've seen, like, all those ones where people just clip a little portion of the whole entire video. But let me find the real video from a reputable source, maybe from Turning Point or something.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racists. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52. I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story. I hear it because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get it on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination policies that turned me into a bitter, resentful activist that hates white people, honestly, through our pop.